Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your girl Sherelle, and I am back with another review for The Have and the Have Not Season 7, Episode 13, and it is called Fine Together. And if you are tuning into my channel for the very first time, be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button so it lets you know when I have uploaded new videos. Um, Comment down below on what you thought about tonight's episode of The Have and the Have Nots, and be sure to like my video. So y'all already see the title, so let's get into it. We ain't gonna do all that. So we open up with Vinny, Mama Rose's son, shooting the police officer, and he's down. And I thought he was gone, but apparently he has a pulse. He's still alive. You have the other police officers who are coming in, and they're basically like, what the heck happened? So of course Vinny lies and like, oh, he tried to commit suicide and this, that, and the fourth. And the cop is basically like, check the cameras, and Vinny, he's just like, can you go get my mother? She's back there in the cage. And he's like, sir, just let us handle this right here. I mean, my man is bleeding out right here, the other police officer. And he's like, okay, well, I'll give you a few minutes. They're gonna need more than a few minutes. You just shot this man, and you got the nerve to rush them to go get Mama Rose. Vinny, have you lost your mind? And then his nephew, Mama Rose's other grandson, I guess, he couldn't take it. So he asked, could he go outside because he about to throw up, and Vinny like, what's wrong with you? Haven't you ever seen anything? Like, because it's normal for them to shoot somebody and kill somebody because they do this all the time. They ain't new to this. They true to this. I was like, oh, Mama Rose got her boys coming down there shooting police officers. Oh, y'all the mob where y'all ain't scared of nobody. Okay. All right, Mama Rose and her mob squad. We see they don't play no games. I mean, they get the job done, and they come down there to get Mama Rose out of jail. Like, no. You ain't gonna have her sitting in no daggone cage. Even though I think Mama Rose wanted to be down there to prove a point and to probably see Catherine. But don't quote me on that. So, let's move past that. We go to Mama Rose and Catherine. We got the two gangster matriarchs, the rich gangster matriarchs against each other. So you got Mama Rose, okay, who's the mob gangster matriarch. And then you got Catherine, who's the crier gangster matriarch. All right. So they just going back and forth. And Mama Rose like, my father used to work with your grandmother. And Catherine like, okay, I never knew that. She said, well, you should have. And I was just like, oh, so these mob ties go way back. Not just with Jim, but Catherine, with your father. Like, they've been doing business with the Malones, the Criers. This is rooted in some, I was like, okay. So they get into it, and Mama Rose, she's not happy about Wyatt shooting or stabbing her son. And she's like, Catherine's like, look, I thought we paid y'all off. She's like, no, it's not enough. So what's how much his life means to you? Because, oh, I'm gonna get him. Bottom line, she said in a few more words, like, yeah, your son did that. I'm not happy. Catherine tried to apologize. Mama Rose wasn't here for it. She's like, yeah, that sounds nice and all, but I ain't trying to hear that. I want some more money. She said, look, we paid you and you ain't getting no more money. You better give it to her if you want Wyatt alive. You better give it to her. If you don't want to hear that Wyatt has been sleeping with the Fishers, like, you better give Mama Rose what she want. Her boys up in the front shooting police officers without a doubt, without blinking. There you go. All right, Catherine. I'm going to have to give this one to Mama Rose. I think she's more gangster than you. Like, your grandmama and your daddy, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me say this here. her grandmama and your daddy used to work together. Okay? So her grandmama had more pull over your daddy. And that's supposed to be money, That's supposed to be money power, Money power, much respect, but apparently the Malones are more powerful in that town of Savannah than the Criers are. So they go way back. So, Mama Rose is reading Catherine too. Let's get into that. She said, how did you raise a son like that? She said, Catherine's like, he has issues. She said, I know. She said, with all that money, the same thing that Wyatt brother said, I forget his name, that came in there to shoot Jim with a toy gun. All this money and your son turned out bad. Like, she basically told Catherine, you're a horrible mother in so many words without saying it. And Catherine's like, well, he got issues. Mama Rose like, yeah, I bet he has issues. So, yeah, they just having a whole showdown. Catherine telling her to bring it. Mama Rose. Catherine threatened Mama Rose, talking about she better not do nothing to whatchamacallit, and she calling her a gray-headed bee. And she said, the only reason why you don't have gray hair is because of your hairstylist. But I'm going to kill your hairstylist for making you look like that. I was like, oh my, and is Mama Rose in here reading? I was like, Catherine, don't say no more. Because since you've been in jail, you haven't looked very powerful. That's all I'm going to say. Outside of jail, you're powerful. Mama Rose, powerful in jail and out of jail. They got her a whole lazy boy to sit in, and she tells them to dim the lights. That's money, power, and respect. Money, power, respect. Are you eating right? Money, power, respect. You'll see the light. It's the key to life. Oh, yes. Lil Kim and the Lox Lil Kim, the Lox, and DMX made a whole song about money, power, respect. And we gonna say Mama Rose is all about money, power, and respect. Catherine, I think you want to sit this one out. I don't think you want to go there with Mama Rose. So we're going to move past that. So we go back at the hospital, and Wyatt is sitting there. Wyatt calls the nurse, and he's being nasty towards them. And this jerk here comes up with a plan that he's going to get out of the hospital. He's going to go home, get him some drugs and some jewelry, and be out, I guess. Yeah. So he's planning to make escape. Never mind, he down at the hospital only because he was in prison. So he go from prison to the hospital. So now Wyatt is about to be on the run, y'all. Wyatt is about to be on a whole run. I don't care if we on the run, as long as I'm next to you. Ooh. No, forgive me, y'all. But anywho, Wyatt is on the run. Now, he's escaped from the hospital, and he's supposed to be a prisoner in the hospital. So sad. So we move past that. We're going to skirt past Wyatt. We got that out of the way. So we go to Maddie and Justin. Justin shows up at Madison's apartment asking for his help, saying that he needs counseling, and admits that he hates that he's gay. Ain't no sense of you hating that you gay. Be gay and free. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, you're gay, and that's that. Try to live your life to the best of your ability. I mean, your life went downhill, because you were living in a closet. I mean, you should have never married that woman. You should have left and, not let your mother control you and let your family shame you of being who you really is, and you probably wouldn't hate it so much. Your family is the reason why you hate that you are gay, because your brothers tried to beat the gay out of you, but they couldn't. Yeah, and your mother shamed you because you were gay, and that's why you hate gay. Maddie don't need You don't need a counseling session for Maddie to tell you that. I could have told you that, Justin. The reason why you hate that you're gay is because you had brothers who tried to beat the gay out of you, which they couldn't, and your mother who shamed the gay upon you. And you might as well go somewhere at a savannah and live who you freely are and get you some counseling. Somebody that'll tell you that. And Maddie's like, look, I'm not your counselor. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You better get from away from my door for you catch these hands. And that's that. And I'm like, kudos, Maddie, to you. And Maddie's just like, Justin, I don't trust you. And Maddie, I don't blame you. You shouldn't trust him. He burned his bridge with you when he knocked you out, caught you from behind, and did all that to your car. So you don't get no love here. Maddie did what he could do for you as a nurse, and that's that. You keep it pushing and go and get you some help. And he tells Justin he's going to kill himself. No, you need to go and talk to somebody, baby. It's okay, you're gay. It's not that deep. It's not as deep as you think it is. You'll live. You just got to be able to live with yourself. Bottom line. Bottom line. Okay? It's not the end of the world because you're gay. You might as well not hate that you are gay because you like what you like, and there is no doubt in that. And just get you some help that allow you to be comfortable in your own skin about who you really are. And that's that. See? So simple. You don't need Maddie or nobody else to tell you that, but eventually you probably will need some help for you to tell you that. So we ain't going to dwell too much on Justin because we don't feel bad about Justin because Justin done did a lot to Jeffrey, done did a lot to Maddie. I don't like what he did to Maddie, and now you coming back for his help. See how life works? See how life works? You mistreat people, and the ones you diss be the ones you miss. The ones you mistreat, you may need them. You better be careful. Food for thought. Be careful how you treat folks because you never know who you may need one day again. See, I don't go around mistreating people because I never know who I would need one day. And I would never say I would never need this person. Now, I do stay away from people that's not good for my spirit. But we all know on the have and the have-nots that Justin was going around doing a lot of stuff because he was angry because he was gay. And there's no reason for you to be angry and lashing out and doing all that crazy stuff. Like, you should have just got you some help in the beginning. But hopefully he will get him some help to make him feel comfortable in his skin about who he is. And let that be that. So we skirt past that. And Maddie calls Jeffrey and lets him know, like, look, Justin was here and, you know, he was talking crazy and I kicked him out. And Jeffrey is like, do you have a gun? Because you know he crazy. He's like, look, I don't need a gun. I ain't worried about him. I will lay him out. And Jeffrey's like, he's coming over. And of course, you know, they're being all giggly and all, you know, doing what they do, you know. And he's like, oh, you going to come over? He's like, oh, you doing all of this? He's like, I'm going to start to think that you care about me. And just Jeffrey admits that he does care about Maddie. Jeffrey, you with the right person, because Maddie seems like he could be good for you. Not just sexually, but mentally, spiritually. Yes, I like the dynamic of Jeffrey and Maddie, but just be mindful that David can't take y'all doing what y'all doing. So please be mindful that your daddy don't want to come in catching Maddie having your legs to the moon, Jeffrey. You got to ease David on into this. You know, like David said on a couple of episodes, he said, I don't have a problem that he's gay. I just wasn't ready to see that. And like I said in another previous video, I said that no parent wants to see walking in on their child, whether they're gay or straight, to see them having sex. And it don't matter how old you are, whether you're grown or not. No parent, when you're young, oh, they really don't want to see it because you ain't supposed to be doing that. Number two, when you're grown, it's almost like you done scarred them. And children don't want to see their parents having sex because that scars them too. So, yeah, it's basically tit for tat. Anywho, we ain't going to dwell too much on that. So, Jeffrey coming on over to Maddie's place. Come and go with me. Come on over to my place. That's what Maddie say to Jeffrey. Come and go with me. Mm-mm. Come on over to my place. Yeah. But anywho, I'm being silly. I'm getting tired. It's late night, and I know y'all probably hear the crickets in the back. Yeah, that's what happens when you live in a quiet suburban area. You hear all the crickets and all that other stuff. That cricket is probably sitting there right by my window. Shh. Y'all probably can't hear. But anywho, we go to the scene where Wyatt, I don't know how he got from the hospital to the estate that fast, to the Cryer estate that fast. So he gets in, he breaks in, the alarm goes off, the people call the house, he doesn't have the password to shut off the alarm, and they like, look, we sending the police. You don't know the password, we sending the police. So Wyatt, he ramshacked Catherine's closet, takes some of her jewelry, he gets some clothes, and he takes a car. Now Wyatt is on the run. Yes, Wyatt is on the run. And now we go to David and Jeffrey, and he's coming down. Jeffrey is coming down the stairs, and he's basically, asking him, oh, okay, you going back to Maddie's house? He said, yeah, I'm going back over there. But he doesn't tell. Of course, he doesn't tell David why he's going back over there, because of Justin crazy behind, because he know David will have a heart attack, and David will want to go with him. So they get to talking about Erica and her friend, and how her friend showed up. Elise, that's her name. Elise showed up, who is the wife from Sisters, Tyler Perry's television show Sisters, who got pushed off. Well, she didn't get pushed off the building. She wound up falling off the building. The crazy wife who couldn't take that her husband was moving on and he no longer loved her. And she started going crazy on him. Yes, she's the one who, the crazy wife from Sisters. Elise is on the Have and the Have Nots. I was like, I know her from somewhere. I'm trying to match her face up. And then I said, boom, there it is. Boom, there it is. I forget her name on Sisters, but she on Tyler Perry, the Have and the Have Nots, playing a whole high-priced prostitute. But anywho, yeah, we go to Jeffrey and David, and they're talking about Erica, and how Elise came by with a video to show him, that she was sorry for all the stuff that she did, and Elise shows him the video, and he's like, well, what she's doing outside, and he don't want to get into all that. So David proceeds to tell him about all of that. Just giving him a taste, not too much, because he doesn't want Jeffrey to worry, and Jeffrey don't want him to worry. And then David proceeds to, he proceeds to asking Jeffrey, was he using condoms? David, I think he should be grown enough to know that he needs to use a condom, and I think you might have want to have the birds and the bees talk with him a long time ago. I don't know if you had that, but hopefully Jeffrey got enough common sense to know he needs to use a condom. But he's feeling a little embarrassed, that his dad is saying that to him. So yeah, so then David goes outside because Elise hasn't left. He's out there with his guard. And he's like, didn't I tell you to get her off the property? He's like, didn't I tell you to get her out of here? He's like, well, the security guard is saying, well, look, she's not on the property, so I can't do much about it. And Jeffrey is like, do you want me to leave, Dad? He said, no, I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay. He said, no, I don't want you to stay. I want you to go where you was going to go, and I'll handle this. So David brings Elise in the house, asking her questions, because Veronica done got him so paranoid. He think every woman that's coming for him is working for Veronica. And I don't blame him after he done went through with Erica. And she comes in and she's just like, David, oh, I want a man just like you. Erica told me everything, and I'm the one who taught her. So if she was good, just imagine what I can do. I could really give you something you can feel. I was like, ooh. David, you sure you want to throw her out? And David, he's just looking like, I ain't got time. I ain't trying to get caught up in this mess. And she wants to take off her clothes. David like, girl, leave your daggone clothes on. Okay, you coming with me and we going for a drive. Okay. And David and Elise goes for a drive. And we're going to get back to that in a minute. So we go to Mitch, Benny, and Candy. And they're basically, Benny wants to know what they did with Hannah. Like, what did y'all do to Hannah? And they basically told her, look, we had to have her moved out of there because she was going to blow up the spot and let everything be known. And we couldn't have that. So we had to have her removed. So Candace had her goons come in to remove her, not harm her, just take her, pick her up, put her in a car. And that's exactly what they did. They ain't coming there to harm Hannah. They just came in there to move her. And Hannah, you know, Hannah being Hannah, she ain't like that, not one bit. Holy Hannah didn't like that one bit. You can't be raising Hannah up and doing all that. She just looked like, I'm your mama, you did this to me. Yes, and so they let Benny know what they did. So Candace starts to talk to Mitch about Benny and her dad. And how Benny put it together about who her dad was. And now he's trying to look for her dad. And she's like, look, I need you to make sure that he doesn't do anything crazy. Just look out for him. Basically, she's telling Mitch to look out for Benny because, you know, Benny can be a hothead, which he really can. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm on it. You know, Mitch is Mitch. Like, Mitch, he knows how to handle a situation. I can see why you like him. Okay, Candace. Because he got your back. Even though he got a thing for you, he still got your back. Mitch got a thing for you. Mitch like, my oh. Candace, you my boo. Even Vinny cousin, like a little chocolate. He like Candy too. Like, Candy, girl, you's a bad chick. Yeah, you are. You got the men going crazy. You done had Jim empty out his pockets. You done got all these men you can came across. You got the president-elect over here fiending for you. She's got me fiending. She's got me fiending. I can't leave you alone. Candace, shaking the men up in Savannah. She got all of them fiending for her and wanting her. I was like, oh, okay, Candy. You must have got some real good candy. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to the next scene. Hannah pulling up. Candace wants to get in the house and get her stuff. Hannah ain't having it. She's like, you ain't getting in this house. Whatever you got, I'm giving it to whoever. Hannah, holy Hannah, come on. Let the girl get her stuff and go wherever she wants to go. And she's just trying to tell Candace, this man ain't going to let you walk away with $8 million as his money. You trying to run too. You trying to be like a wire on the run. Like, Candace, give that man back his money. Of course, you know, Candace done let Benny talk her into it. See, Benny and Candace are like Mike and Ike. They cut from the same cloth. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah. So she let her brother talk her into stuff, and she talk her brother into stuff. I can see that whole brother and sister dynamic. Yeah, let's do it. They talk each other into some crazy ideas. Mainly Candace talking him into ideas because Benny good looking, but he ain't that bright. And there's nothing worse than seeing a man who's good looking and not that bright. That's a complete turn off. So Candace is mainly always the brains of the operation. Like Pinky in the brain, Candace is the brain, and Benny is Pinky. Okay? And they're trying to take over the world with their crazy schemes. But anywho, so Hannah shows up. She's like, I don't like what you told the men to throw me out of there. She's like, Hannah, I had to do it for your own good, because if I didn't, those Italians would have had you thrown out of there. Now you think what Candace did to you, Holy Hannah, was wrong, but just imagine what Mitch's family would have did to you, and Mitch wouldn't have been able to do nothing about it because they don't like black people in there. And they were just trying. Candace was like, look, this could go very south. So I need to handle it the best way I know how, because Hannah is stubborn. So they had to physically move her, not harm her, but physically move her, because she come in there, don't know what type of territory she in, and she can easily get hurt. So in that case, I agree with Candace, because she moved her mother out of harm's way, because she rather have someone pick her up, scoop her out, and take her out of there than them to do something harmful to her, and she can't do nothing. And you don't want to go up against the Malones, because you'll be sleeping with the fishes, huh? So I don't blame Candace for doing that. Like, okay, I can pay some goons to come down here and scoop her up and get her out of here, because we all need to get out of here. God, Candace knows she can't even be in there. So let's move past that. Hannah gets a call from the police and lets her know that there was a break-in at the Cryers, and she needs to get there and identify some whatever they were saying. Now let's move past that. We go to Veronica and Benny. Benny's at Veronica's house and he's trying to get information at her. Benny's trying to get information out of Veronica about Candace's dad and where he lives, so he can pop up and roll up on him and kick his ear. And Veronica trying to get sex out of Benny, and Veronica is making jokes about Hannah. She was like, okay, he used to date Hannah, so why do you need to know about it? What, did he choke her out? You know how y'all hood rats are. And Benny like, Veronica, tread lightly, that's my mama, and you ain't gonna talk about her. And she kind of knew, I need to tread lightly. See, Veronica, you gonna get enough of talking to those boys the way you do, talking to people the way you do, because like that other guy said, you're goon. You better hope that I don't pull the trigger on you for so much crap you be saying. He's like, yo, ass better be careful. And you better be careful. Like, Veronica think she's Miss High Society and Miss Untouchable, and you're not. Because you walking around with a daggone decor, so clearly you're not Miss Untouchable. You got that girl don't even know the new maid that's about to come in who's plotting against you. You got her walking around as a decor as you, because you know that they're going to send a hit out on you pretty soon. I believe so. But anywho, she's there trying to pump in information. She's like, I'm not going to tell you what you want until you give me what I want. You know, you're the best I've ever had. You're not that bright, Benny, but you're good in bed. I was like, this woman, yeah, somebody is going to hurt you, Veronica, and they going to get you good. Now, in walks David with Elise, and apparently they went for a ride to Veronica's house, and he leaving Elise at the house. He's like, who is this, Veronica? Did you send her to my house to set me up again? David's so daggone paranoid. David's so paranoid. He don't even realize that. David, you might want to cash in on this one. This ain't Veronica doing. This is Erica doing for you. Like, Erica screwed herself over because she gone and her girl really trying to get at you because of something she said. And it's just like, he's like, look, I ain't trying to deal with you. And Veronica, of course, she was like, I ain't send that over your house. She was like, I don't even know who she is. And she's like, B, which, tell them your name. And this, that, and the four. Who are you? She's like, she looked like she need a bath. She need an antibiotic. And something else she said. I was like, oh, she is reading Elise down. And they just going back and forth. And she's like, look, I got a man here that I'm trying to screw. David, get on that in my house. I ain't sending this girl here. And David proceeds to leave it out. He is like, oh, you still messing with Benny? She's like, and so I can do whatever I want to do. I was like, oh, Veronica. You keep on messing around with David if you want to. He already done douched you in the pool. Yeah, David. Oh, gosh. But anywho, David leaves Elise there at the house. And Elise was like, oh, I heard about you. She was like, oh, yeah, I'm quite sure you heard about me because Erica done told Elise how crazy Veronica is. And now she's stranded. David done took her to Veronica's house, left her there stranded because he's paranoid that Veronica probably sent Elise over there to set him up and rob him again, which she didn't. And on top of that, now she needs a ride. So she's begging Veronica for $20. And then she proceeds to beg Benny for $20. Benny for a ride. And she's like, look, I can help you find out what you need to know if you give me a ride to where I need to get to. Because David took my purse, my ID, and all of that. And this, that, and the fourth. And he agrees to give her a ride because she agrees to help him out. Okay, now we're going to move to the next. We go back to the cops showing up at the hospital where Jim's at to let him know that, look, Mr. Cryer, someone has broken in your home, only to find out that it was Wyatt who broke into the home because Jim, he has cameras in his house and he has an app on his phone where he can see the cameras in his house, and only he finds out that it was Wyatt. And he said, at first he thought it was Catherine's little lover who did it, but it wasn't. I forget his name. Yeah, so it wasn't him, and Jim sees that it's Wyatt. So he's like, officer, yeah, I know him. He was like, well, how is it that, my son is able to break in if he's supposed to be locked up? So Jim don't know that Wyatt slit his wrist in jail. He got to the hospital. They gave him some medication. He high as a kite and high out of his mind. And now he on the run. He done broke in. He done got what he needed to get. And now Wyatt gone. Okay? Wyatt's going to get high. Okay? High, so high he into space. That's how high Wyatt trying to get. That's how high Wyatt trying to be. But anywho, he tells the police officer, look, I don't want to press charges. Let it go. Blase, blase. Okay. So we're back at the club with Elise and Benny. And Elise is able to help Benny, her girlfriend. She asks her girlfriend who works at the club, do you know who Candy's father is? And she tells him gives them information on Candy's father. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Bless me in the name of Jesus. And bless y'all too. Yeah, so she gives them information, and now, lo and behold, Elise is trying to give Benny something. Benny like, look, you're a pretty girl. You should stop being so desperate. Oh! So he gets what he needs to get on Candace's father, and he leaves. Now let's go over to Hannah, who's back at the Cryer's house. And she comes in the house, and they're like, who are you? She's like, I work for the Cryers, and, I'm the maid, and blah, this. And they're looking like, well, we need you to come in here and identify someone. If this is the perp who's broken in. Hannah goes in the house. Lo and behold, guess who it is, y'all? Derek. And now she face to face with Derek. Sharing her baby daddy who raped her, who she didn't want to have no parts with. So yeah, y'all, that is my review for the have and the have-nots. Drop down in the comments and tell me what y'all thought about tonight's episode. It was pretty good. It was entertaining. These first 3 episodes, they just, Tyler, you're doing good. These episodes are really picking up, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and I like what I'm liking. So, yeah, Tyler, keep them coming. I'm waiting for Sisters to come back. I am. And then I'm Meet the Browns, but that's not a show, y'all, that I want to review. It's something that I want to watch and laugh at Meet the Browns and House of Pains that's supposed to be coming on. See, I love all them Tyler Perry shows. I'm a Tyler Perry fan. I've been a Tyler Perry fan since his plays. Yeah, when they was on DVDs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's my review once again for the Have and the Have-Nots. This is my second review for it. And until next time, until next week's review, I will see you next time, Shugs.